All right, folks, what's up? What's up? I thought I'd try something different to intro the channel or intro this podcast. So today is, or tonight, it's episode 44 of What the Fuck Just Happened with your host, DJ81. And I'm just seeing Bills pop in. So let me bring him in real quick because this is going to be a good one, another good one tonight. So let me just bring him on.
Hey,
Hey,
what's
what's
going
up,
on?
Bills?
What's
Now,
going
I
on, man?
wonder if not much. I wonder if everybody heard that intro that I started out with. I wonder if anybody can guess that intro where it came from.
Yeah, because I missed it. I don't know what
Oh
happened.
God.
I just got home, so.
Well, it was funny because I'm like, I know when you had told me earlier that could you push the podcast back to 8? I was in the same situation where, work. They asked me at work to stay longer, fighting
Mhm.
it a little bit, but I'm like, can't leave something undone. It's just that's that natural part about it. So,
Right.
all right. So, just as we settle in here to see, I don't really expect a crowd tonight because, like I said, this was like short notice, and I know that every 2 weeks you can tell people that, but then do they really? It doesn't sink in unless you like on the off week say, "Hey, next week will be such and such." And
Hmm.
we have Dre in the chat. Welcome, Dre.
Sure.
Featured host of the High Ground podcast. Let me just bring him up real quick. So let's see. And Dre, did you guys have your and it's on Twitter Spaces just for everyone that may be listening live or listening through the archive. It's on Twitter. You can follow him there. The same name at was it at is at Dre Watson, correct? On Twitter. Yep, you
I
can
think
definitely
so.
follow him there. And then whenever his show, usually it's on a Tuesday at noon. But I don't know if they went this past week. But if they didn't, they'll be back next week. So other than that, Bills, how has your last 2 weeks been?
Um, Last week was pretty shitty. um, but that's over. So this week's going pretty good. I don't know if y'all saw on Twitter, anybody that's listening, but I did record another song that I'm gonna send to Cornet's podcast. First one went really well. We'll see how the second one does. I think it's gonna be a hit. So y'all definitely look out for that. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of traffic come to my page after that. Hopefully, if they play it. So look out for that.
Yeah,
And
I
other than
forget.
that, yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. I forget Dre's in Central Standard Time. So yeah, it's usually 11 a.m. for him. But for the rest of
Mm,
us, we're eating lunch. Well, it's lunchtime period. Any time between 11 and 2 p.m. anywhere on this earth is lunchtime. So
pretty much.
take spend your lunchtime hour with Dre and the High Ground podcast. Seem like I'm doing more advertising for him than I am for myself. But anyway,
You
I'm gonna
know.
leave it at that. Nah, sometimes it's good to like have people that are in that circle that are doing their own thing, doing their own podcast in a different format. The Twitter Spaces is definitely something I should think about. Um, Maybe as an extension of this podcast, because to tell you the truth, I could possibly do it on an off week, just to
Mm,
it just instead of changing up the show to switch to an off week where it's just like, you know what, let me just go on Twitter Spaces and see what's up and talk directly to the people.
yes, sir.
Well, I definitely appreciate that, Dre. I'm very hard on myself when it comes to how this performs, and to tell you the truth, it has come a long way because I remember how this show originally started and what things I was trying to do, and then just eventual burnout, and then the absence, and then just coming back with a bang, basically. So I like that people have been here. I like the fact that Bills is. I, you know what? live on air promotion. Bills, you're an official co-host. If you want
I
it.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll
It
take
was
it. Appreciate that. 100%.
okay. It was going to happen anyway. I'm like, I know you eventually have your podcast running, but I mean,
Yeah.
this is a 2-man show. I'm like, I think also I had to think about it. The reason why I burned out because I was trying to do all this by myself. So it's
Yeah,
good
I
to
mean,
have a break.
well, I was gonna say I definitely appreciate it 100%. I was thinking about it in the back of my head. I never wanted to push it. If folks are doing their own thing, this is your creation. I just wanted to be a part of it whenever you welcome me in. But I definitely take that spot as a co-host, and yeah, we could definitely get this thing to another level. The more we
Mm-hmm.
just sort of work on it and get a lot more consistent about the uploads because you won't be as burnt out now. Those are cool.
Right. Yeah, it was bound to happen. I'm like, Bills has been in prior episodes, not just this season, but I had to go all the way back to season 2 when you popped up, and that was a funny episode because that was an episode I actually posted a clip of it on Twitter. That's when I cut off VF and was like, now I run this ship. It's me. So
not a rabbit has a gun.
So, all right. So what do we have going on tonight? Oh, I forgot what I've been up to for the last week. I'm so worried about everyone else. See, this is my personality. I'm more worried about everyone else than I am myself. But last week I was sick last week. I had a really bad cold. I tried to fight through it. I tried to go to work one day, and that 1 hour seemed like eternity, and I had to leave early. But
that was the second time you were sick because the other time was when they gave you some fucked up snacks.
Oh,
God. Can we not talk about that? Can we not talk about that?
Man. Well, they know they corrected the situation, so it was just like, yeah, that was something that it pops up. I'm like, it happens, but at the same time, the only thing I can control is just checking the expiration dates.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be giving stale candy out. But anyway,
I was about to say they can control not giving people, fucking stale ass candy.
So let me see. Yeah, thank you. And then also, I think, what was it when I last went live? I also said this was like 2 Thursdays ago, where I went to my grandmother's funeral. So that was, I'm still kind of pushing through that. Matter of fact, I like in a private moment, I actually looked at her picture and was just like, I really almost lost it because it really been a long time since I've seen her, and the fact that the next time I saw her was her urn. So that's kind of like you're not guaranteed tomorrow any opportunities that you have with people that you may have, been missing from or been MIA. Really think about having that time and reconnecting with folks, even if it's just to say hi. Like
100%.
Everybody's important these days. So, all right.
And also, it does not matter what age they are. That's the most important part. I mean, we're losing people of all ages these days to just senseless violence, disease at all ages. It's just, you never know. So just tell people close to you that you love them as much as you can. And yeah, that's about all I can say.
All right. So we can move and see what, because I kind of staggered this out like a Big Mac of sorts. So just go through the bread, like the beginning and the end are pretty much going to be like the bread, easy to get through. The burger is what everyone's really here to talk about, but we're not going to start there yet. We'll just give you a few moments because people still trying to filter in. I know it's like 11 minutes in, and for anyone who heard that intro, Where did it come from? I'm not even going to give you a clue. If you heard the intro, tell me where it came from. And just to let you know up front, I have nothing to offer you as a reward. You're just gonna have to answer it and be like, "Good job." Just I'm
Pretty
being
much.
real.
Pretty
Being
much.
transparent. Like I'm not gonna give you any money because you can Google something. Think about
Nothing
it.
wrong with friendly trivia, man. You know?
Right.
Don't need to be
So
rewarded for knowing stuff. Shit.
right. And the last time I asked the question, I didn't have the answer prepared, and I got roasted for that. So
that was bad. That
yeah.
was bad. That was one of your. That was not one of your finer moments. I just. That was not one of your. That was a poo move.
Oh God. Let's not go there. And before we even get to this first topic, because this first topic has just gotten worse after I've read this statement by the Washington commies. But
the Commodores,
Comanche.
Oh Lord Jesus!
Man, just chopping shit up. You know what? I forgot what. Let's just go to the Comanche. Let's just talk about it. All right. So let me bring this up.
This should be good.
Okay, potential sale of the Washington Red Wolves. Not my Commanders, but your Commanders, not mine. That whack ass song that everyone's all of a sudden start when they were on that 3-game winning streak. I swear this song was getting plastered all over Twitter, and I was just like, y'all niggas didn't like that song when it first came out. All of a sudden, when a 3-game winning streak, you like the song?
I'll say this: them black uniforms are nice.
Yeah, and I didn't get to live out my because remember this was the game because if Washington hadn't worn those uniforms in Dallas, this was supposed to be the first time you've seen those uniforms in a game, and they should have beat Minnesota. I'm like, hey, they had Minnesota dead to rights. And their offense went into a lull, and then Heineke throws a key interception, which they'll blame the game all on him. But, our doofy offensive coordinator wants to call some doofy ass plays. It led to some doofy ass results. And that's when you lose momentum. And it's like, so if the quarterback is off, it's one thing. But what if the offensive coordinator is off? Then what? I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Kirk Cousins was getting plastered. Like every time he dropped back to pass, there was a Black Lives Matter uniform in his face. So I know his father was just going through the game like, don't let them Devils beat you. And looking around,
he probably had a whiteboard. He probably had a whiteboard out every time something happens. He's doing like Hulk Hogan on the side of that truck. He's just like, oh, can't do it, and I can't do it, and he erases it every time.
God. Man, yeah, but this is the game that I had pegged that Kirk Cousins' father is going to have an aneurysm seeing all that black on the field. But
talking like Bernie Mac.
But
them black uniforms and them black cleats and black skin.
But at the end of the day, Minnesota wound up coming back and they won the game. And we did get a you like that from Kirk Cousins. And then to make matters worse, they caught this dude in a video chained up. I mean, in gold chains. And dancing shirtless
and fucking chained like he's in a rap video.
Right. And he was dancing on them Comanches, whatever they wanted to call themselves. They might as well call themselves homeless, with this potential sale, because that's what popped up this past week was the potential sale of the Washington Commanders. Now, it was reported that Daniel Snyder and just him by himself enlisted the services of Bank of America, which is another old god because everybody remembers them from the early mid-2000s as the bank that was trying to charge fees in which they got sued over, in which now that's why we don't have bank fees anymore. Bank of America is some scum.
We do a TD Bank, unfortunately.
Oh, God. I'm glad I don't have with Discover. I have a web only bank, so and I use PayPal. But anyway, so don't know if this is like a full sale of the team. I said full sale of the team, because it could mean anything. Because they're also looking to get a new stadium. They're trying to. I'm like, with the name change, the Commanders, Commies, Comanches, whatever they want to call themselves today, piss poor performancers. They can be anything they want. I don't know if I would like to think he's selling the team outright, but he just threatened the NFL and their other owners of he's blackmailing the current NFL owners. So it's just like, I think he wants to hold on to that team a little bit longer. And then two, it's just like the statement that I'm going to read this statement because there was an announcement that went by earlier today. Let me see if I can. God damn it! I hate Twitter. I hate my phone. I hate you guys. Psycho, just kidding. But while I looked that up, Bills, what do you think about this potential sale of the Comanches?
I don't think I've ever seen a fan base so happy to see an owner sell a team. I think this is quite unprecedented as far as that's concerned. I mean, Donald Sterling happened not because of the performance of the franchise, but because he was a racist piece of shit. So that was a different situation. Daniel Snyder is a scumbag, but he also sucks at running the team. The only thing that would probably be met with more joy would be James Dolan selling the fucking Knicks. So,
yeah,
if this starts, if a new revolution for the Washington football team, because you're not calling them Commanders, I'm not gonna call them anything else. Can't call them the Redskins anymore. So I mean, for whatever this ends up being, if he does actually sell the team, it could be a positive. Shit, it could be a negative. We're hearing Jay-Z, Jeff Bezos, Matthew McConaughey, all these celebrities are thinking about, chipping in and buying this team, but do they really have the best interest of the fans and the team at heart, or is this like a PR stunt because they just have money to play with? I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I found a statement. This was in response to the Attorney General of DC. His last name is Racine. I can't remember his first name. Well, actually, no, is it here? No. There's going to be a major announcement tomorrow around noontime. Dre, that's 11 a.m. for you guys. Concerning, as probably centered around this investigation that they've been under for this time, that the Commanders have been under. So there's going to be a major announcement coming from the DC Attorney General. Now, in response to that news, there was a person attributed as being part of the Commanders' PR staff. Said this: less than 3 months ago, a 23-year-old player on our team was shot multiple times in broad daylight. Despite the out-of-control violent crime in D.C., today the Washington Commanders learned for the first time on Twitter that the D.C. Attorney General will be holding a press conference to make a major announcement related to the organization tomorrow. And then the next paragraph goes in, the Commanders have fully cooperated with the AG's investigation for nearly a year, as recently as Monday. A lawyer for the team met with the AG, who did not suggest at the time that he intended to take any action, and in fact revealed fundamental misunderstandings of the underlying facts. It is unfortunate that in his final days in office, Mr. Racine appears, they ain't give him the respect, they call him Mr. Racine. That's crazy. I know he's leaving, but damn. Appears more interested in making splashy headlines based on offbeat legal theories rather than doing the hard work of making the streets safe for our citizens, including bringing to justice the people who shot one of our players. Okay, so that last part, the cops got the two teenagers that shot Brian Robinson. So that fell flat. Bills, what do you think of this statement?
Talk about a cop-out. Talk about deflection. Talk about fucking passing the buck. Talk about kicking the can down the road. Talk about all of that. Every single fucking cliche you can come up with.
Pretty much.
That was like, that's fucking awful. I mean, take responsibility for the fact that y'all been fucking up as an organization, starting with your owner and working its way down for the better part of what, 20 years now? Longer. I mean, it's really sad at this point. And the fact that that's your PR person, that was the person that was the mastermind of that fucking sin, which was basically to deflect. That was a terrible way for you to try to fucking fan the flames on this one, buddy.
Yeah, it just seems like, again, with this organization, I'm like, I see the on-field gaffes, the on the sideline gaffes, the practice gaffes, the management gaffes, but a total organizational gaffe. And this is a repeated thing year in and year out. You know who I really feel bad for? That people every year, fans that go all in with this organization, you know, try to be the good soldiers to this team called the Commanders. And what did the Commanders do? Fuck up. It just every single year. That's why, like, as a fan, I've always become more disenchanted with this team to the point where I'm numb and I don't care if they win or lose. I don't even feel good. And even when I watch other teams play, I feel something from those teams, from those players and those fans. When I watch my team or the team, that's where I'm at, the team. I don't feel anything. I feel absolutely nothing. And because this is not my team, this is not. I'm like they're not even in my birth city. I'm not going to say my city because I haven't lived in DC in quite some time. But you know, Southeast is always home for me. Believe it or not, I was born in Southeast. I made it out. But even as a competitor, I don't feel anything from this team. That is worst of all. What goes on while I'm watching these games as a competitor? I'm like, do this. Why is he doing this? I'm sitting there watching the game like, knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen. Damn, do that interception. That's crazy. So I'm like, this team just continues to just fumble, no pun intended, every single thing they do. Changing the name, these dumbass PR statements, and honestly, from the coaching staff, how they manage the game, how they manage to make the team largely predictable, how they render talented guys to make them look like bums on the field. Like, I wonder how William Jackson is going to perform in Pittsburgh versus how he did here. And Coach Rivera coming out and saying that, hey, I was wrong. I thought I could take a man cover guy and make him play match principles.
Fucking Bill Belichick.
Why? So, all right. So, any last words on?
I think the one thing I'm gonna remember from this season is Ron Rivera throwing his quarterback under the bus and then trying to take it back. It was almost like as soon as those words left his mouth, he immediately knew exactly what was gonna happen. And then the very next press conference, because of the fact that Carson Wentz went out there and made a couple of winning plays, he wanted to basically do a TO, that's my quarterback, that's my fucking player bullshit. And it's like, no, you threw him under the bus. And you had evidence or any type of text to stand on when bashing him in quarterback, as opposed to literally a division that had new coach quarterbacks in every other team. So there was you threw him under the bus and then you tried to take it back.
So on top of that, and remember, there was a couple. I think during training camp, they went to bat for Carson because the person doing his interview during training camp basically threw him under the bus. So it's kind of ironic that Rivera winds up doing the same thing as the announcer. I didn't see the GM come down on Rivera like he came down on that interviewer. And it's just like, man, clean house. Get rid of the owner. I mean, somehow get rid of the owner. I'm hearing, I'm not an insider, but I'm hearing that they have the votes. Just a wild guess. So I hope this announcement plunges the dagger a little further and pushing out the cancer out of the body of this Washington football team. And hopefully they can push the Commanders out of there too, so they can be the Red Wolves. So I have nothing
at this
else.
point. This is, I wasn't fired, I quit, is what this is basically.
Pretty much. All right, so moving on, what you guys wanted to talk about.
Cuban's Ladybug.
Oh, and where? Oh, there she is. She pops up. Yeah, it's nice to see you pop up. I know you're probably here for a moment, but yeah, it's nice to see you. Have you checked out any of the new No Man's Sky?
Where's Doug Thomas at?
I know they. Oh boy. Yeah, that is the next question. Where's Doug at? And then the VF be creeping. But anyway, let's see. Caught the last half hour. Okay, good. So you caught us just going to town on my team. That's basically what you caught. So, all right. So we are here really because of this. I'm gonna let Bills take the lead on this, Mr. New Co-host.
Can we just start with the fact that to add to the shit show, independent of Kyrie Irving, we decided to elevate Jacques Vaughn to head coach. It was like, fuck you, Ime Udoka. You probably had somebody leak the fact you were going to get fucking hired, and now we're not going to hire you. How about that? Just to add to the shit show. Woj has sources. Woj don't miss. If Woj reported this, there was some truth to it. So I just want to start with that. That's just crazy. But if you were living under a rock, then I'll go ahead and review this past 2 weeks of what's been going on with Kyrie Irving. So, Kyrie Irving shared a screenshot of basically a picture of a documentary on Amazon called Hebrews to Negroes, which basically looks at the history of blacks as it pertains to religion and where they came from, a lot of biblical background, a lot of those things. And it was met with backlash because people who have nothing better to do went and probably looked at the documentary and found some things that they didn't really like, aka facts, about some things. And it basically was deemed an anti-Semitic post and an insensitive post by Kyrie, despite the fact that he promoted it. He never really said anything. He never co-signed it until he was pushed into a corner, and then he had to defend himself. So, anti-Semitism is something that we've seen pop up in the NBA a couple of years and really fuck some people's careers up. Myers Leonard hasn't been heard from. I think somebody needs to do a wellness check at most department to make sure that he's even still around, the way he got traded and passed around like a Broad Street hooker and then thrown out of the league, never to be seen again. All because he said an anti-Semitic term on a gaming stream for the longest celebrity. For the love of God, stop video game. Stop streaming video games. Like, stop. Why are you like? Nothing good comes from that. You're gonna slip and say something that you only say when you're playing with your friends, and the next thing you know, you're gonna be losing out on millions. You're not gonna have a career, all because of that. Look, I don't care what anybody says. There's a lot of shit we say. There's a lot of shit I say. There's some shit that DJ says. There's shit that everybody says to their friends that are inside jokes and shit that you would not say if you were in front of a camera. The issue is you can't turn that on and off when you're playing with your friends on camera. You're going to subconsciously say these things. And I'm not saying me and DJ are saying racist shit. We might say some shit that's deemed as insensitive these days because everybody's fucking sensitive. But we're not saying stuff that would be to the point where, you know, we'd get canceled. I mean, who knows, you know, these days. But I don't think so. The point is, this movie basically pointed to the power structure of America as far as, you know, a lot of Jewish people are the execs at these record companies, are the execs or owners of sports teams, are all of the executives in Hollywood, so on and so forth, which people called anti-Semitic tropes, but are they really? Do we have to research this? Do I have to tell you about the business that I'm in? I'm pretty sure I'm well versed in that myself, being in the music business and having an uncle who was in the music business and deep in the music business. So to me, now everybody's dragging Kyrie Irving. He got suspended basically indefinitely from the Nets because of this. And they basically said, I'm not going to bring up the quote, but they basically in so many words said, now we're going to suspend you because you're not going to apologize for something that you really shouldn't be apologizing. And 6 things that he do before he Brooklyn Nets, which is basically he has to apologize and condemn the movie, which is crazy. That's basically just like, why don't you just get down there and let him piss in your mouth? I mean, seriously, at this point, it's like you can't have any opinion of your own. They're basically telling you to say, I was dumb, I said something stupid, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I'm going to condemn the movie. Then on top of that, he has to meet with Jewish leaders in Brooklyn. He has to fucking, I think, donate some money. A bunch of bullshit. They're basically tar and feathering him. They're saying, hey, look, everybody, this is the fuck up. We're going to parade him around. Here's your scarlet letter. Basically, figuratively, scarlet. It's fucking ridiculous.
All right, let me cut in for 1 second.
I can't even begin to describe how much I vehemently disagree with this shit. But
okay,
what are your thoughts on it before I go any further?
Well, just to go over that list of demands, because this is some buck breaking type stuff. I say that on purpose because that's exactly the technique that was used on plantations to get people to get in line, mainly black people doing slavery times. And that they would take one, they would either tie him to a post and whip him unmercifully and just do it over and over until, you know, he's going to be in a lot of pain, but the pain was mostly felt on the others that watched, and they kept the others in line because this is what happens when you get out of line, and even more than that. But basically the list, just as Bills was going over it, was apologize and condemn the movie, which doesn't make any sense because a lot of people that are putting these lists together probably haven't even seen it. Donate $500,000 to an anti-hate causes. I was like, what is this going on against Kyrie? There's a lot of hate being shown towards him. Somebody donate him some money to a cause of his choice for all the hate now he's receiving. Hate doesn't.
Are they going to call that a fine? I mean, how do you force somebody to donate money? It's crazy.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm like, this is a jail sentence, which is the new form of slavery, by the way. sensitivity training. You can't control how other people feels about the words that you say. If that was the case, then we will all be walking around muted. Everyone's sensitive, but I don't know the level of sensitivity of the next person. And I don't care because I can't worry about what other people, you know, reactions to my words. This is the thought that I believe Irving has when going through this. It's like, oh, look, it's Subliminary Sports. Hey, what's up, guys? So I feel like Kyrie is walking around like, okay, you say this now, but then what about the next mofo that says something? What happened to their list of demands? You had, I think, Bills. You mentioned the former Clippers owner. He wasn't given a list. He just sold the team. He made money off his fuck up. The Phoenix Suns owner sold the team, made money off it. I'm like, even though one was just a racist comment describing, I guess his wife's black friends or whatever, or maybe something. Can't remember exactly who he was describing, but it was in reference to black men. And then I forgot exactly what the Phoenix Suns owner, what he did. I don't know if that was sexist remarks or whatever the case. He wound up selling the team.
Inappropriate conduct in the workplace.
Right. He wasn't given a list. Sensitivity training. Oh, just sell the team. Go away. That's it. So then on top of sensitivity training, anti-Semitic training. Wait a minute. I'm trying to. So basically, he's doing sensitivity training twice. Did Riley Cooper go to like African American sensitivity training on top of sensitivity training? No.
Nope.
All right, and then more sensitivity training. This is the last four. The sensitivity training, the anti-Semitic training, the meet with ADL Jewish leaders is more sensitivity training. So give them 3 times the sensitivity training that you didn't even bother to, give other people that said some racist things in the past to other races on this earth. And then the last is meet with Joe Tsai, or I guess that's how you pronounce his last name, to demonstrate understanding. Tsai. Yeah, like the short knife that Raphael of the Ninja Turtles that was a weapon he used to wield. It was a good defensive weapon. I would like to get one of those one of these days. But yeah, meet at the end with your instructor and let them know, do a book report, which is probably it's not going to be a conversation. This is going to be like, can you write this out and give me a 20-page synopsis of your experience going through this buck breaking? How did it feel? When did it happen? How long did you rethink what you were thinking? Were you in pain? And how many lashings was it? Oops, not lashings. How many? This is.
Might as well be.
Yeah. I'm like, this is just. And there's a picture. I don't know if I can show it on here, but there's a picture underneath. Let's see. There it is. There's a list of demands right there. How long it would look if they actually did it the way they really want to do it. This short list, well, it's not short. That's still a long list, but that's a lot of activity. On top of that, he's suspended indefinitely, minimum of 5 games, and yet to be fined. I don't. The
other thing is,
they do this in people's faces. That's the trouble I'm having with this.
And on top, it's the fact that why do black celebrities have to get dragged through the mud in public, almost as if bowing down to the Jewish masters to say, hey, you remember who runs this shit, right? You remember who runs this, right? It's us.
Mm-hmm.
Myers Leonard got wiped off the face of the earth. There was no embarrassment. It was by Kyrie. No. Kyrie, we're going to take the loudest voice and emasculate him right in front of you so that nobody else will speak out. Because just like back in the slave days, if you take the strongest slave and emasculate him, nobody else is going to step up. It's the same thing Kanye said. People can call Kanye crazy all they want to. Kanye has his own problems, but he's not wrong about that. You whoop a slave, the strongest slave in the bunch, in front of the rest of the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
That takes the heart and soul out of that bunch. And nobody else will ever try to step up and go against this, this abuse. And it's just like the fucking gun line in life. It's just like the fucking gun line. What do you think the gun line was for?
I just saw this.
Good.
It's funny how they make a big deal about the Hebrews to Negroes film book being on Amazon, because that was going to be the next thing I was going to go to. But I hope they know that Mein Kampf is on there too. Did anybody complain about that? Anybody really make a big deal to Jeff Bezos about this? I'm just saying, all over Hebrews and Negroes, but ain't nobody complaining and coming up with change.orgs about removing Mein Kampf. But even though I may disagree with Mein Kampf for that book or whatever, I'm like, it has every right, just like any other book, to be available, because in this country, we believe in freedom of press, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of whatever. So if someone wants to read that book, they should be able to. So
and here's the other part. The other part is, I am so tired of these people that talk about, well, freedom of speech doesn't apply to freedom of consequences. No, you're right. It doesn't apply to freedom of consequences if you can be proven to have said something that was actually fucked up and derogatory and anti-Semitic. He didn't actually say anything.
right, he just posted. No
he
words.
Posted
he even
a picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah, he even sat there and said, it was like, look, when he apologized, but he was like, I apologize for posting without context. If anything, that's the only thing he was really guilty of. He just posted it. Like a lot of us do. We retweet shit without putting any words. That's why when I retweet, a lot of times I like the quote tweet. So at least you'll see my thoughts and be able to read it. Now, if you skip over it, that's not my fault. That's your fault. But let's see. The director, the creator of the movie, had also released a statement himself. It's a long statement. I guess we got time. Oh, and there we go. I see Pooh's in the chat. What's good? Everything's good over here. Yeah, it was sad to see the Phillies lose the World Series, but I think that both of us saw that coming. I had to fight over my choice, but yeah, I'm like, after your team got no hit, that was it.
Combined no hit.
Let's see. Yeah, he has. I wonder how long this Kyrie shit is going to continue. It depends on. Unfortunately, it's actually on Kyrie. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be at all. But it's going to be on Kyrie.
It's already reaching. It's already reaching a conclusion because he met with Adam Silver and they're going to start working together towards a resolution. But it is going to involve Kyrie being tarred and fucking feathered.
who says anything about the Phillies, by the way, the minute the no hit happened, I went right back to game. I think a lot of us did too. Actually, just a side note before I read this press, I don't think I'm gonna read the whole press statement, but just a side note, when the commentator during the World Series sat there and said, okay, they're being no hit through 5 innings, I was like, oh, they jinxed the pitcher, and I turned away. I was like fully expecting the Phillies to get a hit, but then to come back in here, it was a combined no hitter. I was like, God damn, they can't hit for shit. Like they're just swinging at, and you guys saw me tweet about it. I was like, they swinging at everything. I'm like, what team does that? And then Bills, you pointed out this that the Yankees. And Bills, you pointed this out. It's like, that team is full of heavy hitters, undisciplined hitters. The most disciplined of them is Bryce Harper. But I told you about the time when Andy Pettit, when Bryce Harper was younger, was swinging at every changeup that came his way because it looks like a fastball, but it's not a fastball. But it was just like soon as the Astros, and I told you about that stat on breaking pitches in that no-hit game, 0 for 34. That's all right. Back to this statement from the creator. Do you remember, Bills? Do you remember his name, by the way? The guy from Hebrews to Negroes, the director. I was trying to find it. Surprisingly. Yeah, well, a lot of people, just like Hebrews to Negroes, nobody really heard about it until this came up. But I'm gonna read this press statement that came from the creator. Maybe I should read the whole thing. I vehemently reject
Ronald Dalton Jr.
Yep, Ronald Dalton Jr. Good. At least we got his name out there. Okay. Reject and condemn any forms of prejudice or hatred towards any person, regardless of their race, religion, ethnicity, lineage, ancestry, or sex. No, he didn't say gender. That's a topic nobody wants to touch. Well, to me, he covered it, sex, because there's only two.
Don't do it.
No, I'm factually correct. I said sex. I didn't say gender. There's a difference. See, there's a difference.
Well.
The same people that argue about many genders tell you there's only two political parties. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Shots.
So, as well as violence, racism, bullying. Oh, let's stop right there. Bullying. Don't you remember there was a nationwide campaign about anti-bullying? You notice that went away? Anyone? Right. So we're bullying these days. It's allowed to bully. It's allowed to openly discriminate. Like when Biden openly discriminated against non-vaccinated folks, literally calling the pandemic the plague of the unvaccinated. I'm like, did we
or
not
black
see...
people who didn't vote for him or didn't plan voting for him?
Oh, right. Just like when Hillary Clinton was like just playing along with everybody. It was like, I keep my hot sauce. That's a different, playing to black folks, playing for their votes. But on top of that, it's just like it's just crazy how out in the open, the people that, and yesterday was election day for the midterms, and a lot of people voted. Openly, I'm going to say I did not vote. This is probably the first time I didn't vote for any midterm elections or whatsoever, because I told a person at work I lost faith in the politicians themselves because they don't fulfill what they set out to do. And it doesn't matter which party it goes, they all in it for themselves. So it's just crazy that, just to go back to the bullying thing, that we no longer have these campaigns of anti-bullying, because that's what we're doing to folks these days. Just like they're doing to Kyrie right now. They're bullying him, buck breaking in this case, to get him to submit to the will of the powers that be. And have you guys, us, watch this unfold in front of your very eyes? Yeah, that's what they're doing these days. All right, so Bills, do you have something before I continue?
Uh, I mean, not really. It's just funny because I've said before that this they will always remind you that they are the one that you are the slaves under their watchful eye, and that's pretty much it.
All right, so I'm gonna let you guys know I may trip over a few of these words because there's only I'm let you know up front if some of these words I don't usually say that's in this statement. So if I trip over it, that's not because I can't read. It's only because I'm not familiar with that word. I know it a little bit, but not enough. I don't say it enough. But anyway, the attempt is always fun. Okay, so bullying, discrimination, black Jew phobia, because that's another thing. People don't think Jews are blacks. That's crazy because Sammy Davis Jr. and a list of others. So I digress. And the misuse of the term anti Semitism. The African diaspora that was sent to the Americas and the Caribbean via the transatlantic slave trade are ethnically the Israelites of the Bible from the lineage of Shem. Now, this is for for you folks. And if Apex were watching, I bet you he would be more familiar with this than I am. But I know several people that are in these circles that talk about this all the time. So I'm familiar with it, but I'm not deep in it myself. Therefore, myself or anyone today who is descendant of Shem's 5 sons cannot be anti-Semitic. That's basically what Kyrie Irving was saying. Basically, if I know who I am, I can't be anti-Semitic. So for people that were lost on why he said that, that's why. So, and then it goes on. It says, as a Shemite, I am against any form of anti-Semitism, anti-Shemitism in America or worldwide. Racist scapegoating, as well as unfair tactics that hold communities of color responsible for societal problems, must stop. It is our collective duty to create a society where everyone has the same opportunities, irrespective of their race, religion, ethnicity, or sex. Freedom of speech and freedom of expression, didn't I say that earlier? Should not be seen as an infringement, but unfortunately, based on what we have seen lately in the news, this is a sad reality in America. We definitely have more work to do to fix this. That was from Mr. Dalton Jr. So, with all this going on in y'all's face, how much can you ignore and just, and like, even to the point where you got people like Charles Barkley literally reaching out to Adam Silver. You're Jewish. You should do more about this. I'm like, no, he's a commissioner of the NBA. He needs to act accordingly, not because he's Jewish. It's because he's the commissioner of the NBA. There shouldn't be reports about Adam Silver being furious. He should have no emotions whatsoever. I understand he's human. He can have private. He can have emotions while he's in private. But there should be no reports of him being furious over this situation when there were no reports of him being furious over the LA Clippers, the former LA Clippers owners stuff, and the Phoenix Suns owner stuff. And I didn't even really hear that even with Miles Leonard, unfortunately, over anti-Semitism. So I mean, come on, this is crazy. This is just crazy. All right, so Pooh says, by the way, the NBA or the Nets even get that was about the list earlier. Gave Kyrie objectives like he's a my career player because there's literally the shit I thought of was my 2K22 my career. Yeah, but it's not. I'm like, what Kyrie's going through, that's some deep rooted. I'm like, if you go back to when we talked about Ime Udoka and how he was being treated, you basically have been told or explained two tactics of buck breaking. One, turn your own women against you, and two, beat the shit out of you in front of everybody and embarrass you in front of everybody. So everyone else knows, don't be this guy because I'm in control of this whole plantation. There's one of me, but there's several hundred of you. And because I beat the crap out of this guy, y'all won't lay a finger on me. That's basically what's happened with Kyrie Irving in this NBA situation. Any final thoughts? Or can we can possibly keep going? But just any final thoughts?
Documentary for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I spent 11 this fucking documentary. You know what? Shit. And I want to see this anti-Semitic shit that they're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got through about hour and a half. Outside of them questioning the number of Jews that died in the Holocaust, there was nothing even close to anti-Semitic. And even that wasn't anti-Semitic. It was questioning the stats that were given to us. I'm pretty sure if I watch the rest of it, they'll get more into the control and dominion that a lot of the high-ranking folks in entertainment, mostly Jews, it's going to get into that. But once again, those aren't tropes. It's facts. It's facts. Let's be honest. Jewish fucking executives, these black rap artists, and say, you're not going to rap that conscious bullshit. Keep rapping about shooting your own people. Even when they fight back and say, I want to rap about conscious stuff, about uplifting my community. No, we're not going to do that. Keep rapping about killing because I got bills to pay. So I don't want to hear shit about anti-Semitic. Maybe if these folks that are so fucking bitter did some research, watched the documentary, or learned about what our fucking culture actually goes through at the hands of people of their own ilk, maybe they wouldn't feel this way, but they don't want to because they have confirmation bias. They already have this built in with Kyrie. He posted something and they fucking hate Alex Jones. So regardless of whether Alex won, go back to the Hook situation. Kyrie Irving is factual. They go back to the fact he wasn't vaccinated. It's always a deflection to something that doesn't mean anything in relation to the current topic. And that's what they always do. That's part of it. That's why they don't want to talk about race unless it's Jews. They don't want to talk about race. Oh, I'm sorry. Stop Asian hate while blacks are still getting gunned down. Let me. How can I forget that? Which more traction 5 weeks than Black Lives Matter did in 5 fucking years. But let me not get started on that. At the end of the day, they're trying to silence us because if they silence the loudest voice, if they silence the guy for last year, then silence the rest of these people because they're not going to fucking say anything. They already don't want to. Now you're taking the loudest voice. It's that simple. That's if you don't realize it, that's how they control us. They take your heroes and emasculate them and cut their dick off right in front of you. And then when you see what they did to that guy, you don't have courage because that's the person you looked up to to be the bearer of change, and he got fucked up. So what's going to happen to you? That's literally how they do it. It's been going all the way back to the slave days. That's how they did it. They're doing it now. They will twist your words. They will deflect. And then once they have the court of public opinion on their side, they will then go in for the kill, which means, hey, we're going to take your livelihood. And while we twisted your words with the media, because we control that too, now we're going to make you beg for your fucking job because we control you. If it was slavery, they'd be begging for your fucking life. And like I said, because nobody ever wants to talk about race and they never want to look into the history, the actual history of slavery, because they're too squeamish, they don't want to hear about it, right? We should be the motherfuckers that are squeamish. We're black. But see, folks walk around with the guilt, so they don't want to hear this shit. But that's the reality of it. That's what it was. And you know what the other key was? And no, none of you white people better say this shit. A house nigga. You know what a house nigga is?
Yep.
The person that goes and basically has Stockholm syndrome and actually he fucking sympathizes with his oppressor. That's Charles Barkley and Shaq. They're dancing for a fucking check right now. You know who's not dancing for a check? Shout out to Jason Williams. Who's not dancing for a check right now? Who doesn't care if he gets fired and went on record and said that? Who called out the people who aren't talking about Amazon still having this movie on their platform, but they're talking about Kyrie. I'm just saying, it's right in front of your face. And I guarantee you, if Jason Williams cares enough about that job, they're going to make him go on TV and fucking apologize too. It's that simple. You had people that came out and defended Ime Udoka and came back on TV the next day and apologized. Fucking Matt Barnes. Oh, I didn't know all the details. Oh, well, yeah, you know, he was really messed up. I didn't know the details before I went and come on, bro. Stephen A. Smith fucking fought back against the feminist movement in that fucking hypocritical bullshit as it pertained to Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt. And he came back on Monday and fucking had to apologize. That is their version of Yes Master fucking apologizing and bending the knee in front of the world because you have a platform. We go back to Myers Leonard. Myers Leonard didn't have a platform. He wasn't affecting change. He was a dude that could get out of there real quick. They just got him out of there. Get out of here. Right? Kyrie, no, we got to embarrass him. We got to emasculate him. We got to make an example out of him. It's that simple, bro. I don't even have anything else to say. It's like it's right in front of everybody's face, but they don't want to accept it because their friends will look at them differently until they have a brain of their own. That's the fucking issue.
See, and that's why it's important to know your history, because you can see the bullshit when it happens before it happens and not be blind to it as it happens or willingly ignore it, which is a form of cognitive dissonance. So at the end of the day, speaking of which, on a side note, there's Doug Thomas pops up. But as we were saying, at the end of the day, it's just, you know your history, know who you are. If you don't know who you are, do some research. You don't have to really go through Ancestry.com or 23andMe to figure that out. I'm like, half of it's a guesswork anyway. But if you just read history, I love history. And it's just like, if you read history, everything operates in a circle. That's why you hear terms of circle of life and, you know, what goes around comes around. They're not describing a straight line. Only thing that's described as a straight line is time. So you could wash it away. You could ignore history all you want, but it's going to repeat itself. Are you prepared? And a lot of us out here running around not prepared. I feel I'm prepared. Bill's clearly is showing that he's prepared. I'm like,
I'm ready, man.
people just out here just no identities and just ignoring the obvious stuff now. It's not even covert stuff now. It's out in the open. Either side, far left, far right.
And think about
because
this.
a lot. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say just real quick. I mean, we're talking about cycles. You know, when you look at the music business, why is it that rap is the only thing that isn't going in cycles? Why has that been consistently about murder and killing our people? R&B's gone in cycles, rock's gone in cycles, pop's gone in cycles, gone all the way back to the 80s and 70s, and come all the way back. We got disco and all this shit coming back. Funk, right? But killing each other has been the same shit for the past 20, 30 years. Why is that?
Yep.
Ask,
Nobody has a.
I was going to say, ask the people at the top.
Right. Like nobody has a problem when we're talking about each other. When we're talking about us calling when we're calling ourselves the N words with each other. But you have comedians that say jokes about either the alphabet community or the or even Jewish people or just whatever, and it's like, oh, they have to be punished the most. That person who made those references towards those two groups by themselves. And the thing is, it's like I can go behind it and say that, hey, I have lived a balanced life with many groups of people, with many, and it's like to each their own, and I respect them all as their own. But it's one of those things where if you know me, and if you know the people I roll with, we're me. My generation is Generation X. We weren't the sensitive types, and there are exceptions in the younger generation. The older generation definitely was some OGs. They definitely didn't give a shit. So you think they're the ones running around with this sensitivity bullshit? I think, and and I told Bills this because we blame the younger generation for a lot of the issues that's going on, but who parented them? We did. So, and then vice versa to our older generation, to our fathers, grandfathers, and stuff like that. It's like they're looking at us like, why are they acting like babies? Well, maybe because you had something to do with it as well, because you raised the son or daughter through easier times. And technically, this is probably one of the easiest times where really all this generation, and I'm just talking about here in the United States, just talking about here in the United States, because obviously the rest of the world got their shit together because they don't do it. I'm like, I haven't been overseas, but you keep hearing about how the world looks at the United States, and everyone's looking at us like, the fuck is wrong with them? Are they going through identity crisis or something? Like, all this craziness. They elected Trump one year. I'm like, they had a black president one year and they elected a fool after him. So it's just like, what's going on with the people over there?
Elected a fossil.
yeah, Biden now is just like, man, if people, and one of the things I've always been afraid of, like within me, is to just go off and just tell everybody that everything they're doing is not worth it, because that's why I hate having, like, at work I felt like I didn't even feel comfortable talking about even voting, because hearing the conversation I'm sitting there like, well, they're not gonna like what I had to say, because it's against everything that a lot of people will believe in, like even voting. I'm like, Bills, you remember this? I posted on Facebook with even a threat to not vote. All of a sudden, people coming at me, calling me all types of names. There were a few people that understood. They even asked questions. And then the death threat. I was just like, it's not that serious. you can't just respect my wishes. You got. I hope you don't make it out the pandemic alive. Well, I'm here, bitch.
You know what's crazy is that the only time contrarian opinions are respected in this
Mm-hmm.
country is when they're being prepped to become the actual majority opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you notice, when all this transgender stuff first started, it was the contrarian opinion that everybody had to just accept, right? And there were a few people that were really pushing that agenda, and then all of a sudden now it becomes the majority people that are okay with it. So now if you're against it, then you're the problem. But
Mm-hmm.
before, it was okay back when it was just a couple people shouting from the fucking rooftops. That's the thing. It depends on the agenda. If you have a contrarian opinion that they want to go along with, if they can make money and fund it, oh yeah. If they can indoctrinate people, oh 100%. But if they can't, if it's a contrarian opinion just because you're thinking for yourself, oh no, no, we can't have that. We can't have the unvaccinated. We can't have the people that think it's stupid to call somebody transphobic because I didn't know you were a dude, even though you look like a chick. We can't have any of that. We have to go by what the majority says is what we should say and what we should think and how we should live. Oh, you're not gonna vote? You're a fucking idiot. Oh, yeah, we can bully you now. Oh, you're not gonna get the vaccine? Oh, anti-bullying. On the other hand, fuck you. You're not voting. That's the reason why Trump won in 2016 because you didn't vote. Fuck you.
Mm.
See how that works? Oh, well, oh, you think that Michael Jordan's not the greatest of all time? You're a fucking idiot. Do you watch basketball? What's wrong with you? Everybody says it. So why don't you? Oh, even hey, in my case, I've never done this, but oh, you don't think Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time? You're fucking. Who you think it is? Who you think it is? Who you gonna say? Right? And then what they do is they get these other people to come. Yeah, what's up with this guy? Right? And they peer pressure you into either apologizing and saying sorry, I was wrong, or they just fucking bully you until you mute it or block them, or come back with some shit, which is what I do. But not everybody wants to do that, and they shouldn't have to, because your opinion should be your opinion, whether people view it as uneducated or not. It's like we used to be able to either disprove people or ignore them, one or the other. We don't silence them. They'll be silenced if they're disproven.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's the issue. What do you have to silence somebody for if they don't have a point? People ever think about that? If somebody doesn't have a point, if they're not making sense, what do you need to silence them and take their platform from them for? They're not going to make any waves anyway, right? Oh, but maybe it's because they are making waves. Maybe it's because they do have a point that you just don't want to get out there. Right. I don't agree with everything that Alex Jones says. For example, you're taking the platform from him because you think Americans are too stupid to fucking not filter what they listen to and discover whether it's bullshit or not. They can't decipher that, so you have to do it for them. Are we fucking 4 years old? That's the shit that kills me. It's like this government wants to talk so much about freedom, and everybody wants to talk about so much freedom in this country, but it's really somebody feeding you your fucking food like a baby. Oh no, you don't have to watch that. We're gonna get that off the air. Here's a fucking government parental code. You'll never have to watch that again. He won't be allowed on this site or this site or this site or this site. We'll silence him. It's bullshit. It's supposed to be adults. Oh, you're old enough to go and vote. You're old enough to go to the fucking military, but you can't even choose what you want to watch because they'll silence the motherfucker.
See, when I said this was going to be the burger of the sandwich, I was not kidding. So we definitely have to get to the bread, which is pretty much going to be the end, because I heard Pooh talk about God of War, Ragnarok. Now, at first I had misspelled this Ragnarok until I looked. I basically had the O where the A is and the A where the O is. And when I went back, I wish I could put the that actual letter in the Norse language in its place, but I've gotten a chance to preview the game. I just bought it, so I have it on my PS5 now. So I'm gonna get a chance to play it. But just watching some of the clips, I kind of already spoiled the ending for myself. Not gonna say it. So no, I did. It was on purpose. I wanted to see how things went. I don't have the patience because I know I don't have that much time with work and also trying to get other things done. So
Thank God
I
I
know
stopped
I'm
watching
not.
Last of Us 2. I still don't know the ending, thank God. I know a lot of parts that are crucial, but I don't know the ending. So.
Right. Like I know if I would, let's say if Last of Us 2 had come out around this time, yeah, I would have fast forward to the end and watching somebody play because just I remember playing it and just it was a grind. VF even said the same thing. It's funny, he started before me and I finished before him. The game that is. And it was one of those things where it was just like, yeah, no. That's why it's
Nobody caught it.
yeah, because you know what's funny? I tell people this all the time. I'm probably one of the most self-aware. It sounds like I'm self-absorbed, but I'm more aware than people that I lead people on. Than I lead on. It's one of those things where it's just like I'll say something, but I'll quickly realize that somebody is gonna catch that, and then I correct myself. So, like, if you guys in the chat, well, obviously chat with the lag, sometimes it'll pop up, but you know, I know that I'll be aware of what I'm saying around people because I know how people take it these days. But I'm definitely gonna check out. Well, I'm gonna have plenty of time to play because I'm off tomorrow. So I'll probably post on Twitter my thoughts. I'm not gonna post any clips because I don't want to be a part of that spoiler crew because I honestly thought the game was coming out on Friday and it was like it released today because I know the scores. Oh, and that's another thing. The scores for the game through the roof. I think even higher than the original. So
my boy's a huge God of War fan. He just texted me he's 38% done with the game. The motherfucker been playing it all day. So I'll probably grab it in a couple weeks. I'm not too much in a hurry. I'm not really a God of War guy. Not that I hate it, but I didn't even finish the last one. I played too much the first day and never came back to it. I got tired of it. I tried to beat it and thought I tried to play it all day and thought I was gonna beat it. That shit didn't fucking happen. I said, well, fuck it. Like, stop playing this shit.
But yeah, this is definitely like it. Critics around already said that this game is a banger. I'm gonna play it for myself. From what little that I've seen, I'm like, it's pretty much the same game. Some people call it DLC because, I mean, everyone kind of forecasted this from the beginning. But remember, in the original God of War, there was you couldn't go to certain realms, and they never went back to it. So
yeah,
it was just like I wonder if this game is supposed to be, oh, now you can go to this other place. So that's that. All right. So
any thoughts on? I was gonna say real quick. Any thoughts on Undisputed? Have you watched any clips or?
Oh God, I haven't really. Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to play the demo.
Okay.
I didn't really get it, and apparently there was an issue with matchmaking. So when I did get, because when I got on, I couldn't match up with anybody, so I couldn't really get a chance to play the game. I still have the shortcut to my desktop, but it's I was.
Did you watch anything or?
I watched a few, but it's like a lot of people that obviously didn't know what they were doing.
Most of them.
People were just playing it like it's Knockout Kings, and they're trying to like swing when they're backing up. And then you even pointed this out. A lot of people didn't realize that there's more than two ways to throw a punch.
In real life, they don't know it, so of course they would know it on a video game. See, the thing is, like, I remember we've been talking about this during the whole process. I mean, from the time they released screenshots to the gameplay way back before the punching had more snap rate, we've been through all of this. So when I was watching the beta, I'm looking at how things are moving independent of how the player is actually playing, because it's much like 2K off-screen footage. Most of them can't play the fucking game. You're just watching it just to basically watch it. You're not really, you can't take anything from what they're doing other than if you look at the animations independent of each other. It's just like State of Franchise said, they fight, they don't box. But here's the one thing. Everybody was talking about how, oh, they don't put their body into any of the punches. It seems like all arm punches. If you're boxing, there's 3 different ways you can throw a punch. Now, you can jab without stepping into it. You can just literally be lined up and just jab like that. Then you can jab and you can lean in, and then you can jab and you can step in and lean in. That's a power jab, right? They don't know that. So they're watching people that don't know the controls, and they're saying, well, this isn't in the game and that's not in the game. No, they don't know how to play. I was watching guys that are out of range and they hit the left stick, and you could tell they didn't really know the sensitivity of this, because then they're up on the guy now. So then they get punched, and it's like they try to get back out. And then it's like, once people learn how to play the game, especially Fight Night have the same sensitive ass movement. People should be used to it by now. Once people get used to it, the game's going to look fucking amazing, and it's going to play amazing. I can already see all the tools that they have in there. I'm amped up for the game. The game looked great when people were fighting at range the way they were supposed to, but I only saw like one video the guy actually knew what he was doing. So people need to relax. They're going to buy the shit anyway. I mean, come on. What other boxing game you going to buy? What other boxing game you going to buy? Oh, I'll wait. There ain't another one. They got all the licenses. They got all the best fighters. They got Canelo. They got Crawford. They got all the guys on there that you're going to want to use. So it's like, and just like State of Franchise, I'm amped up for the career mode. They have actual belts in the game. The game is going to be great. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to, just real quick before we wrap up. I know that that's coming out eventually. We're going to get that on early access. Whatever this AEW game turns out to be, I want to try it. It looks fun at the very least. It might not be deep in gameplay, and it looks fun. So I want to try it because it looks fun. And it was supposed to come out, they rumored it was supposed to come out next month, which that's not going to end up happening. It's going to come out sometime in 2023. Whenever it comes out, that's another game that I'm looking forward to. Outside of that, I'm not really looking forward to any other games. So,
well, I tell you what, they did confirm that they're not going to be out on Game Pass. So you're going to have to buy the game.
You have to buy an Xbox.
So they what was it? Again, the game just reminds me of No Mercy, which is the best wrestling game of all time.
I've heard.
So I mean, you already know I'm getting it. And as of right now, with everything up in the air, we don't even know if CM Punk is going to be in the game. They made.
I made a song about it.
Yeah.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, it was a funny ass song too. It was a long ass song. Yeah,
because I didn't know if DJ listened to it or not. So live reaction.
Yeah, that was a funny ass song, and it was like, I'm like, at first I was thinking about the title, and then it first started, and I was just like, oh boy,
Al Melvin the Balloons.
What shots are gonna be thrown in here? And I definitely had to listen to it again, but it was just like the one where it was like, what's the name? Got a picture of Tony fucking a goat video.
He must have pictures of Tony fucking a goat. Why is Daniel Garcia on my TV every week? Yeah, what is it? It's like some type of blackmail. It's basically what I was alluded to.
So it is. Yeah, this is gonna be.
If y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry to cut you off. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sending this. Jim Cornette has a podcast. Jim Cornette, former wrestler manager. Some of y'all know, some of y'all might not. Anyway, he has a podcast. He plays fan music on Jim Cornette's drive-thru. So the last time I sent one, he really loved it. So I'm trying to send it this time. And really, don't tell him, but he unfortunately doesn't watch this. But I'm trying to get a song to eventually be the theme song of his podcast. It's what I'm trying to progress towards. But I'm not trying to keep sending in songs because a lot of the guys that send it in are just kind of doing it for fun. They're not actually musicians. And if I keep sending it in, I'm gonna seem like a dickhead. So I'm not trying to. I do it sparingly. Subliminary, as soon as he as soon as he plays it on his podcast, I'll make sure to put out a link or post it on YouTube or something. For now, I'm trying to keep it under wraps so people kind of just. I've sent to a couple people, but I'm trying to keep it under wraps until it gains some more traction. But by traction, like him playing on a podcast, then I'll officially release it. But I kind of want to see his reaction first. He might not listen to it this week, but I know he'll eventually listen to it. So.
See, and that's how that works. Give them a little taste, and then see what the official word is, and then put it out. That's
people think I be fucking around on Twitter. They see me talking shit. They don't like. I know I talk about doing music, but this isn't my music page, so I don't advertise it. I'm just on here talking shit, right? But not like I sent it to Neo, and Neo's like, "Hey, yo, you can fucking sing." I had no idea. But yeah, man, for sure, Subliminary. I think I have you on Twitter. I might just send it to you. I have you on Twitter, so I'll probably just send it to you.
So where we're at? We're at the hour and a half mark. So I figured we were gonna go.
Oh no, an hour. My fucking my computer clock is wrong. I didn't fix it, so I was like, shit.
I figured we were gonna go long, but I'm actually happy about the turnout. Let me just go through everybody that popped through because I like to do this after every show. I'm actually making a thing just to shout out everybody that came through. I can't name the lurkers, so if you're lurking, you didn't say shit, I can't say your name for shit. So let's first shout out to Dre Watson, of course, and then after that. Cute Miss Ladybug, how you doing? And then we got Subliminary Sports. Glad you could be here. I know you're in the area. Let's see. And then Pooh suffered a World Series L that included a no-hitter of his squad, which is embarrassing, and lost to a bunch of cheaters. But Dusty Baker.
I sent the link Subliminary on Twitter. You can check your DM.
And of course, Dusty Baker winning the World Series for the first time in his career. He'll probably retire off of that because he's old.
Like Wesley Snipes said in White Man Can't Jump, that's a black man.
Right. And last time I went live, I wasn't going for any Dusty Baker slander because he was a former national and he was fired for no reason. Ain't we all fired for no reason? Okay. Then state of the franchise gaming. Nice of you to be here. Sorry about your Yankees. They didn't make it that far.
I'm not sorry. and he knew it was coming anyway because we talked about it. So don't man. He's fine.
And then Doug Thomas, of course, he mentioned this earlier. Says, sorry I missed the show. I'm on overnights for 3 weeks. Trust me, we've watched all stages of your shifts. I think we understand. So you're good. So as long as you can catch us at any time after it goes all live. And again, just letting everybody know, Bills is the official co-host of the show. It was a live on-air promotion. It was going to happen. Yes, he knew it.
Oh, he's listening.
Right.
Subliminary is listening to the song. I kind of want to see his. I want to see his reaction. He's listening to it as we're on. Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me once again, man. It was a matter of time. We kind of threw that idea out there back when First and Frame Rates disbanded. It's the timing wasn't right, but now it seems like it's right, and it's definitely a positive because he's doing something good over here, and I wish a lot more people would see it. And yeah, I mean it's great that we're linking up and gonna be on a podcast together from now on out.
Yeah, because I always believe in an organic situation, and it's the best way for things to happen. Things happen on their own time. You don't push people, you don't pull people. Things either work out or they don't work out. I wish I could apply that to all walks of life, in my life. So, look at this.
Subliminary. How are the vocals preliminary? You over there hearing it? I know everybody thinks the song is funny, but how are the vocals? That's the part I'm worried about. I know State of Franchise said it was funny, but
Yeah,
I know most people are feeling it, but
yeah, it
I'm
is
my
what it.
hardest critic, so
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, that's me singing.
wow,
Who do you think it was? You think I'm posting somebody
wow,
else's song?
wow,
Yeah, you think I'm posting somebody
wow.
else's song? Nah, bro. That's why I told you,
This
DJ. People
man
think
pulled
I
a
be
Milli Vanilli,
you too,
sent you
Doug
a clip.
Thomas. While we're
All
waiting
right,
for the
yeah. Have a
preliminary to
good work
finish,
tonight. Be safe.
yeah, definitely be safe, man. I know you saying, but damn, I appreciate it. No, but while preliminaries listen to the song, I want to ask you about Gotham Knights. Do you consider getting Gotham Knights, or
No,
is it the
I
30
don't like. I don't
frames?
like this.
It's
No,
okay.
it has nothing to do with that. First of all, even though they have the fighting system, there's no there's no parry. I haven't seen one
Oh, that's
parry.
whack.
Yeah, I haven't
Like the
seen.
Batman games. That's
Yeah,
whack.
they literally took that part. It was like one of the aspects. I'm like, one, I didn't like. One, I don't like the story. I've already watched through the story. I didn't watch the whole story. I just like fast forwarded to the end. Don't like the story. Oh, okay. So what is Gotham Knights, anyways? Okay, so Gotham Knights is
Mhm.
not canon to the Arkham series, that video games. Gotham
Mhm.
Knights centers around Red Hood, which was one of the Robins, Nightwing, Robin, and Batgirl. And they take and this the story takes place. It's already put out there as far as the premise. Batman and Commissioner Gordon are gone. They died.
Oh
And
boy.
it's up to these remaining heroes, because Red Hood is kind of like an anti-hero, because remember, if you remember the comics and you remember some of the movies, Red Hood was formerly Robin. I can't remember which name he was, because you had Dick Grayson, who was Nightwing. Then you had somebody else that was Robin that eventually became Red Hood, because he was left for dead because Joker beat the shit out of him and Batman didn't get to him in time.
Mhm.
And and that actually played out in Arkham Knights. If you played through that game, if you played Arkham Knights, you saw that storyline play out. So,
My cousin probably will like this game because he didn't like Batman at all. He fucking hates Batman.
and it's a co-op game, Gotham Knights. So you could play with, I guess, online with one other person. You can play it by yourself. But from what I was hearing and what I saw is that a lot of the like fights are geared to having a partner player. So other than that, it's got some goofy soundtracks to it. Um, I heard it looks fun, but I don't see myself getting it.
Does Gotham Knights have a parry? It says
It
Gotham
does,
Knights technically has a parry. You dodge and
technically.
then strike within a certain window of time, and it looks like a counter. That doesn't count.
Yeah,
That doesn't
because they had it's funny because they had the same, the pop-ups that let you know, okay, this is an attack that you could block, but but it doesn't allow you to block. It's like you can dodge, doesn't block a parry, which is kind of crazy because why would you have the timing? You can just get rid of all that and just be like, okay, all these are dodgeable, because even the ones that in the Arkham series,
Mm,
you could block, but some you couldn't block. They would appear in red, and you would just get the
mhm.
hell out of there or get the
Right.
hell out of the way. Then you would dodge.
Yeah,
So,
I don't like that, man. I don't like that.
so.
I thought about getting it, but now I don't know.
Oh, an update on NHL 23, because I know everybody, including myself, was
Oh boy.
is still kind of pissed off about the presentation. So they're in a patch that's supposed to they just released the patch where they got the on ice projections for the 6 teams and everything else that normally plays for the other teams, like the national anthem or whatever, to appear more often after this last patch. But their plan is to recreate NHL 13 first on ice projection. The other teams that don't have their signature on ice projections pregame will have like a standard team logo on ice projection as their intro. I kid you not. I think they saw that video I did, and then they saw the Twitter post that shared the NHL 13. It was like, you know what? We need to do that. But at the same time, no word on full presentation because again, this is all in 5-second intervals, so you don't really get immersed. But yeah, they need to say something about what, like, are they going to put it back in? Are they going to keep it out for this year? Something.
NHL's presentation is so bad. I find myself not buttoning through the cutscenes on 2K now. I take the cutscenes on 2K for granted too often. But when you don't have them on NHL, see, what people don't get is in sports like baseball and hockey, it's way more glaring when you take shit like that out. Basketball's a fast-moving sport, right? All those cutscenes are quick anyway. But, you know, obviously the beginning of the game is different. But, like, they weren't even showing replays after goals. There were sometimes you weren't getting replays. I'm like, wait a minute. This got to be a fucking glitch. There's no way I just scored a goal and they just skated right the fuck past it. And put some, the leaders for the year. Fuck that. Show my replay. I haven't played the game, and it's not really the presentation. I haven't played the game in a while. It's not even a presentation. I just kind of moved away from it a little bit. But that was an issue. I don't like the lack of presentation. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. And I pointed out day one. I said, this is the most bare bones presentation I've ever seen. Like, as far as, you know, past 2004, it's that fucking, I mean, shit. Fucking EA NHL 2004 had better presentation of this shit.
Right. And see, my issue with the full presentation is that not only do you randomly not get a replay, it throws you off when you're making line changes. Because I'm a guy that makes manual line changes, and I do the strategies. And that time with the cutscenes, replays, the full presentation between these plays, it gives you time to do all this. And you never know when you're pressing a button to change a line, and it's too late because they're already at center ice after a goal when you're trying to change from line 1 to line 2.
And for folks who don't watch hockey, there's replays all the time, right? There's replays after an icing. There's replays after, you know, a goalie makes a save and you know, holds the puck. There's replays all the time. Like, it's constant. Every stoppage of play is a replay, basically.
And then there's a lot of dead time, which obviously in a video game setting, you don't want that much dead time. I get it. But these are times where you can highlight stats. You can highlight different moments in the game. The only thing I really like about and I'm talking about this presentation in general, not the actual feature that got pulled, is the fact that the fans, oh God, I've never seen. They get this game does get a plus when it comes to the crowd reactions. Those boos, you would have thought you were in Philly or something like that. The way they ran down boos for whatever. Whether they brought back the moment where if you hurt an opposing player, every time your person touches the perpetrator gets the puck, they boo them, but they're booing the ref. Eventually, after a while, if it gets ridiculous, it all builds up to ref, you suck. And just the moments where, like, if you're in the offensive zone for a long time, and if it's your home crowd, it builds up. And it just builds up and builds up. And then eventually, if you score, you hear the roar. If you don't,
and you see the crowd jump the fuck up, right?
Right. So it's just like, I know there are other games that do crowds very well, crowd reactions, but it's just like you have the ones that, like Madden, that don't really give you a feeling like you're in a stadium. I know
Madden's the crowd noise in Madden is improved over where it was now that they added the home field advantage, but it's still not where it needs to be. And you still can't really tell a difference between a place that's really, really loud and a place that's just, an average home field advantage. That's really the issue to me, is when you're in Arrowhead or you're in New Orleans, that you feel like it should be different. Damn controller should be rumbling. Like, there's certain aspects that they can add with the PlayStation 5 controller that will make you feel like that, along with how it comes across on the screen. But the point, how does MLB The Show surpass you in crowd sounds and the knowledge of them knowing the game situation? Because I told you about, they showed it in the trailer before the game came out, but even the way fans react when there's a really bad call by an umpire in a really close game, they'll boo him off the fucking planet.
Right.
In Madden, you get a penalty late. I mean, shit, penalty. Right. If you get a penalty late in a game in Madden, the fans don't react any more than they would in the first quarter. It's like, whatever. I don't know, bro. Like, if you score a garbage time touchdown, say your team's down like 45-0, and you finally score, your crowd shouldn't be going crazy. It should be a golf clap. Like, oh, it's about time. You fucking scored, right? Like, but Madden doesn't have that. And I'm sorry, I got to hold 2K's responsible too for not having a smart enough crowd, because.
Well, wait a minute. They leave. If they're home, they're the home crowd, they're
leave,
losing. Yeah. They leave. They
leave.
But they disappear though. From one quarter to the next, they just disappear.
And they're getting there, but they should already be there. The crowd's a bit more. They're a bit more interactive when the game starts really getting down the wire, but there are certain times that they should get a bit more involved knowing the game situation. I just feel like they don't. But you still do get them booing if you go 4 or 5 possessions without scoring and the other team is kicking your ass. The one thing they need to bring back, this is the last thing I'll add, not bring back, but put in. I remember on NBA Live. You remember NBA Live when they like bash you for not calling a timeout during a run? Mm-hmm. Yeah. 2K needs to do that.
Yep.
2K should have that. Oh, why is this coach not calling a timeout?
Like, what's going on? It's like a 10-0 run, and you ain't trying to stop them. Like, what's wrong with you?
Right. It's about time he called a timeout.
Oh, boy.
It's the little things, man.
All right, so we're about to get out of here because I know Bills and Dre about to hit up Modern Warfare too. Oh, yeah. I was thinking about joining in, but I didn't know God of War was out today, so I'm gonna be playing that. And I'm gonna give the folks that are still here a chance to figure out where this came from. So if you can hear this, let me know. I'm gonna just play this again. That's all I'll play. So let me see. Hold up. Let me see.
That one NBA 2K5.
No, it definitely wasn't NBA 2K5. Okay.
I don't know.
Saba asked me, is DJ, are you going to play Ragnarok live? No. I need to enjoy the game. If I were to play it live, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it. I'm just like Hard 8 Times when it comes to this. It's
and me.
Because if you do stuff like this live, you have to also entertain the folks that are there. So I just want to enjoy the game, be immersed in the game, not be like one foot in and the other foot kind of like I want to be in, but no, I got to entertain these folks who are watching the game. No one's going to sit there and watch me in silence play a game. So
I vowed to start streaming more, but I enjoy my games a bit too much. I will stream. I don't think I've streamed the game of NBA 2K23. So I might need to do that. But other than that, not streaming.
All right. Well, nobody's answering because they don't know.
They don't know. I don't know either.
So, oh boy.
What was it?
It was NBA Live 98.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
My first one was NBA Live 96, and then my next one was NBA Live 99.
Yeah, because and it's funny because I actually have a bunch of them, the intro songs on my phone. And hold up, I had another one. And I'm not trying to get like a copyright strike, but only play like a few moments of it before I cut it off. For you wrestling fans, see if you can figure where this came from.
Sounds like Sting's old theme music.
You're getting warm.
I don't know. If it's not that, I don't know. I thought it was.
People in the chat, who you think? Those that know a little bit of wrestling and pay attention to theme songs. I'm like,
I know it wasn't Diamond Dallas Page before you had the.
Oh, you're getting cold. You were warm.
Oh wait, Lex Luger?
Yes.
I know what you. It sounds like a surfer boy, man. It's like Diamond Dallas Page. No, okay.
But you know what? It was also a theme I used for my created wrestler. I forgot which WWE 2K, but no, I'm not. No, talking about best song ever. The hell. And then, okay, one last song just may give me a copyright strike, but
oh Lord,
I'm gonna risk it because I'm only gonna play a few moments of it, because I'm just to let everybody know it's fair use. Fair use.
Machiavelli, rest in peace. Gotti, too much Bacardi in his body. Mouth like a 12-gauge shotty. And John said he shall be the lost. We got to see the two parts to lead us in the screens.
It's so random.
Follow me. My best fest is Fox Fest.
Okay, that's enough. But then you know.
No. Sorry. I was vibing out over here in my head. I was vibing out over here in my head.
Yeah, but you were hearing voices that you probably didn't expect if you didn't hear the song before, or if you didn't hear this version of it.
Yeah, that was I don't know, sound like a familiar voice.
Oh yeah, it's very familiar. I thought you were gonna figure out almost right away who that was. Because of that.
Sound like LL Cool J. I don't know.
What?
I don't fucking know. It sounded like LL Cool J. It wasn't.
It was Eminem.
Oh God.
That's when back in the day, 50 Cent had a beef with Ja Rule. So it was 50 Cent, Eminem, and Busta Rhymes that all went in on Ja Rule to Hail Mary.
Yeah, and then 50 Cent bought the first 4 rows.
Yeah. Talk about petty. It's like, yeah, you paid that fool to have an empty stadium, or at least the first 4 rows.
Terrible.
It's like, I did that. So, all right, we've gone on long enough, and Daniel Snyder still hasn't sold the team, so I think I'm gonna call it a wrap. All right, so thank you guys for coming out. Again, we're gonna come back in a couple of weeks. Not a couple of weeks, but the week after next. This is a every other week type of deal. So it'll be episode 45. So I wonder if there's a theme with 45 besides the fact that that's Trump's number and Michael Jordan's number. Oh, what happened?
I'm just listening to you talking about that's Trump's number.
Yeah, because we did Obama's number tonight. And it was, as much as it was about race tonight, it's going to be for 45. Oh, that's right. He is about to announce something. So, I mean, the timing is just, it is what it is. We're going to have episode 45 after 45 announces that he's going to run for president. I'm calling it right now. He's running for president because it's kind of easy. And it's not that I'm not saying this because I'm excited. I'm saying it because it's possible, because nobody does shit in government. Period. Just people low expectation having, they get the crypt keeper in office to make it possible for a guy like Trump to possibly come in and win. And I'm telling you, this is repeating history, because there was another guy back in Germany before World War II that was in power, lost power, got it back, and then just destroyed all types of shit. So know your history.
No, Biden falls off his bike again.
Oh, God. He survived the last time.
Well, maybe never mind. I wasn't even about to go down that road.
Okay, would you rather him be president than, okay, he falls off his bike and Kamala's president?
Oh, no, I don't need Camel.
Yeah, that's why he made her vice president, because, I mean, it's kind of like the same move that Obama made Biden vice president. They can't shoot me. He'll be president.
Come on.
That.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
What's that? Biden has a motorcycle now.
Shit.
That's even worse.
He'd forget to hit the brakes with his fucking geriatric ass.
Oh, boy. The late reactions. All right, we're going to be out of here. We're hitting 2 hours. Now, Bills, you can say we're almost at 2 hours at this point. This man predicting the future. Bill Adamus.
Bill Adamus. Oh, right, man. It's been fun. Well,
it's definitely been fun. Thank you guys for coming out. God bless. Good night.